And I'm back, this time with Rosie. I'll be honest, I had like zero plans to redesign Rosie due to the fact I gave like zero shits about her, and I'm sorry, there's so many has-been characters, how am I supposed to care about all of them, or even really remember some of them, because believe it or not, Rosie was actually around during the Zoophobia days, or more like she was made during the concept of Has-Been Hotel, because there is no Zoophobia Rosie, and she is pretty much the same as she was back then. And I think around this time I kind of dipped from the VivziePop Tumblr fandom, because I was busy being obsessed with something else. But after some time of y'all begging me to tackle Rosie and saying no a bunch of times, I finally caved when I saw the promo pictures with Rosie, and it got me curious because I was kind of surprised she hadn't changed all that much from her pilot look or concept look. And a mutual of mine pointed some stuff out about Rosie that I had never been aware of, like allegedly she's a Hellborn, not a sinner, which sparked even more interest since the only Hellborns we've ever seen come from Pride itself was Lucifer's family, and like that Leviathan family, I don't remember the name. There's a photo in Lucifer's office, so yeah. But so if it is true, then that's super interesting for her character. But as I say that, yeah, no, the show does nothing with it, and even has Charlie act like she's never been or heard of the cannibal town. Like, girl, you've lived in hell your whole life. But from my understanding of the show, hell is not that big. But yeah, the show's done nothing with this possible info along with her design, because we know from Hell of a Boss that higher ranked Hellborns favor their prince or princess in some way, so I can't be too upset, because I mean, look at who's the Prince of Pride, right? So her design being basic is fine. It's just the fashion I have the most issue with, since Viv's based her off of Dolly from Hello Dolly, which is a musical about Dolly, a matchmaker in New York. The musical / story is set in the 1890s, which is why Rosie's outfit is so much older than Alistair's. But here's the thing, it's not exactly historically accurate, which y'all know me, I live for historically accurate, but due to her being based off Dolly, I can look past some stuff since theater historical outfits are usually extremely wild and big due to wanting the audience to see them better. But Rosie's dress seems to be mimicking Dolly's travel dress, but as you can see, it's not as expressive and it's kind of shaped odd. Also, her hat, like, yeah, it's the right shape and the feathers and flowers are right, but the fringe on the edge like that kind of doesn't work, since most of the time the hats mimicked the dress's design and Rosie has zero fringe on her, so yeah. Also, the fact that Rosie is not wearing gloves is crazy to me, as that was like the thing in 1890. She's basically naked. As for her personality, not much is really given to her. I mean, her pitch Bible says she's like a Jewish mother, which, okay, fine. But the show's version of that is just like, meh to me. But we don't learn that much about her that we, the fans who do all the digging, already knew. And what little info we did get didn't really influence me in the redesign. So yeah, let's just move on to the redesign. Also, some warning, I'm gonna talk about the cannibal and gory sides of her and her design, so kind of be on alert. I don't imagine I'll go into gory detail, but you know, just in case. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so even though it's not 100% confirmed if Rosie is a Hellborn, I kind of decided to stick with it because, I mean, it's such an interesting concept. Like, she's this cannibal overlord who could die by any means, but has the nicest territory and people, even if they eat people, but still, there's something about it that made me want to stick with it. So to make her feel more a part of hell, I made her hair living, like it moves and stuff. I kept her face relatively the same, but gave her a hollowed out nose, and it wasn't eaten. That's just how they're born. Her teeth are stained gray due to the amount of her own people she's eaten. I like to think Rosie makes deals with her people, and if they don't meet up to her standards, she eats them, and not the fancy way Alistair does. I also made her skin more grayish. I mean, it's gray in the show, but it's fighting to be noticed due to her hair being white. And I'll get into color in a minute, but I wanted it to be clear she's kind of sickly looking, cause surprise, humans can't eat humans. Not saying she's a human, but she's humanoid enough to be similar to us. But apparently there's something in us that makes the eater sick, and when tested for it will immediately show that you've been eating people. So yeah, that's why Rosie looks a little bit more sicker. So yeah. As for her outfit, I wanted it to look somewhat historically accurate, but off due to her being a Hellborn and not using traditional fabrics. So her over fabric is what I'm gonna call it. I can't exactly find the name of it. I know it's like a mix between a shawl and a wrap, but it's like tucked in. So just imagine with me, if you will. But yeah, her over fabric is made from demon leather and has teeth protruding out of it. As you can see, I had a lot of designs for her, as a lot of the dresses made in the 1890s weren't super detailed. I mean, they were, but it was like subtle. And the fabrics used were mostly of fine lace and simple patterns and embroidery. And Rosie's lack of flair really made me do a double take, since she has nothing really going on other than the puff sleeve jacket, which technically should all be one color. Like, I'm kind of getting tired of the sleeves not matching the jacket thing the Spindle Horse team is doing. It just seems to make more work for them. But yeah, even though I didn't use like detailed fabric or embroidery, which I really wish I could have done, but that's just a lot of detail in itself, I decided to stick more with like the layering and the draping and the detail work of like smaller aspects. Since all show Rosie has really is probably that black lace collar, which I'm just going to assume it's lace because it's drawn the exact same way the Exterminator's necks are, and then like stripes at the bottom of her dress. And I'm like, everybody has stripes in this show. Anywho, oh, also the sleeves in 1890 were kind of all over the place design-wise, as it kind of depended on your age and specifically when the dress was made, because you couldn't go to a store and be like, oh yes, I like this, I'll take that. No, it took months to have a dress made in a specific style, so with Rosie being a bit old school, I went with massive sleeves, really pushing the drama. I also added teeth to them as a way to show that Rosie is more hellish, but also not wasteful, if you catch my hint. Also, I kept her sleeves tight, as usually a more open sleeve was for jackets, but for a dress's full top, they were tighter and so much longer. In fact, some gloves were made to look similar to the style of the shirt, giving a full arm look, but I didn't want to do that since I made her dress black, and having black gloves would just phase too much. So yeah, gray gloves and meat red colored edge cuffs. Now, another thing I did to make Rosie feel more time period accurate was give her a pigeon breast, which is just how the tops back then were styled. It's kind of like those wide hip dresses or bustles, or how some dresses in the Renaissance made you look pregnant. It was the style, the fashion, the drama, the history. So it's one of those illusion styles of fashion, and to really run with the pigeon breast style, I put rib bones along her shirt, and yes, the undershirt is a different color. Layers was what was popular. I don't know how they survived without getting heat stroke, because I would straight up die. Anywho, I also gave her a flower eye brooch, and when I was originally making the rose designs, I couldn't find any references to roses in the Helliverse, except for the ones in Alistair's comic, but they just look like regular old roses. But the roses Solus got in the He Can Get Hurt episode seemed perfect, so I used those as my model, though I recolored them to match Rosie better. Plus, her name's Rosie, so why not put her in roses? I also made the petals of the roses the same color as her hair, as a hint that she was named after them. And as you can see, I put some on her hat, but also put some questionable meat, we'll say, on her hat as well. Again, I just really wanted her to feel truly demonic and unique and cannibal chic. I also added a few bones to her hat. I think I've settled with the idea of them being finger bones from her old business partner Franklin. Waste not, want not, right? And I did originally plan to change her feathers into just being a big leaf, but it kind of didn't look right. So I went with this like black living swirl monster thing, like think Nurgle from Billy and Mandy. And as you can probably tell, I reworked a lot of my original design. I mixed my first design and my last design, since I felt my last design was just too much, and it was also not the right shape. I should say that the dress silhouette of 1890 skirts is a little more A-line than mermaid. I mean, they do technically have a bustle, but it's flatter and more like a train. So I went with the more correct shape and just fused the older train to give the tentacle monster end. So also, as you can see, there's a split on her skirt. The skirt is actually the most fun part of a 1890s dress, as the bottom could be styled and layered any which way. Like I said, the simple fabric patterns made it easier to make interesting designs with the layers and folds. But I went a bit more plain by giving her a split but added a rose eye cluster and made her under fabric appear like a monster's tongue and teeth. Oh, and I added a rib bone belt so she and Alistair could match. After drawing her so many times, I'm actually super happy with the final design. It might be a lot, but if some stuff is smoothed out, I think this could work. Like, don't get me wrong, Rosie's great. She's just not really giving demon like the others are. Hell, OG Alistair is giving more demon vibes than she is. If it wasn't for the black eyes and teeth, she'd practically be a human, which is something I kind of have issues with in the Helliverse. Like there's not much hell elements in character designs. I mean, the ones who look more demonic are practically animals, and the ones who are still somewhat human looking don't look all that terrifying or hellish. Like, they don't need to go absolutely crazy, but like they could make the fashion more Hellraiser meets The Gap, but everyone is pretty much in their 2000s goth and emo era. I mean, there is such thing as horror fashion. It's awesome. I mean, look at this blood collection from this year's spring collection. It's amazing and so haunting yet beautiful. Ugh. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to do for Rosie, and I hope I was able to deliver. I hope you can stick with me for this next bit because it's going to be kind of like an AU overhaul mix. So let's move on to that. Also, quickest thing ever, if any of y'all hang out in my community tabs, you'll know I'll be making an overhaul of Has Been Hotel, which means I'm basically taking the main ideas of Has Been and making my own thing with it, though it still kind of falls in the Has Been realm, so I had to recreate some characters and pick who was coming with. And Rosie is one character that is still coming with, as she'll be part of the 7 overlords that represent each sin. Do not worry, there are a few sins that also will be coming with, so I'm answering that now. But yeah, she will be part of the 7 overlords that represent each sin. So Rosie will be classified as a gluttony citizen, but is the darker form of gluttony, so she's more of a fake plant person, while bee citizens are the ones who help make the honey and food. Her role will just be Alistair's friend and someone he confides in and will invite to the hotel sometimes. She will also be the inventory characters, meaning if information or relics are needed, we go to her for it. And some characters will be given tasks. That way we can explore hell and learn possible lessons along the way. Because though I do want to focus on the hotel, I do think exploring the outside from time to time is really helpful for the world building and give characters scenarios that wouldn't happen in the hotel. Anywho, I don't want to spoil too much. I mean, I kind of have. You'll have to find it in the community tabs. And as for overall personality for the overhaul situation, I don't mind the personality that we have. I think I would like to do something a little bit more playfully mean with like more gore jokes, if that makes sense. Like, the personality is fine. It's the bare minimum of like a mother, womanly person, you know? Like, I mean, we only get to know her for 1 episode, so I can't really say like what exactly Rosie's full personality is, but I know that I would like Rosie to be a little bit more mysterious and complicated and like a tiny bit more gory in like the way that she speaks, because she does speak a little too proper for me. And like, you know, I hate to use the argument that this is hell, because everyone likes to throw that in my face when I say the cussing is too much, but I'm like, I would like there to be more demonic elements in the way that certain characters speak or act, because I mean, this is an entirely different world from our own, so the culture and the speaking should be a tiny bit different, if that makes sense, you know? Anywho, this was so much fun. I haven't done much gore art in a while. I used to be a part of the candy gore fandom for a while, but dropped off because I wanted to try something else, but I love this design. Anyway, next video will hopefully be the review for episode 3, because I have a whole lot of nothing after that video. I mean, I have sketches, but they're either not done or it's gonna be an extra longish video for me to make. So yeah, maybe I'll draw Funtime Freddy at some point and have that locked and loaded. But yeah, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and me. Also, it was the channel's birthday not too long ago, and as of this year, we have reached 66.8 subscribers, which is huge. Here's hoping we hit 100K by the end of the year, and if you're still here. And there is a possibility I'll do a live stream for my birthday or like the day after my birthday, since I'll probably be eating my weight in crawfish. But yeah, let me know if y'all would be interested in that. But yeah, I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.